Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. I was looking through some photos recently and stumbled across some stop motion photos for a game I took not long after I started the channel, which is now just over a year ago. I'd intended to cover this game at the end of April last year, but somehow it got overlooked and I'd even forgotten I'd done the stop motion for it. But this weekend, we finally got around to playing it, and what a great game this is. This is Micro Dojo, designed by Ben Downton and published by Prometheus Game Labs. This is a small box micro game that originally came out on Kickstarter way back in May 2021 and was published back then in an envelope. That's just how small the game is. Here is the first edition that I backed back then, all unpunched and unplayed as I popped it onto a shelf, and then over time it slipped from my mind. But a year later I backed a new deluxe version of the game, along with its brand new expansion, Loyalty and Deceit. This time complete with their own boxes and wooden upgrades. This launched back in March 2022, and when it was delivered, rather shamefully, once again this has sat on our shelves just waiting to be played. Having a large board game collection can be a good thing, but when it gets a little too big, that's when things like this happen, and games just sit there patiently, waiting to be rediscovered and played. And in the case of Micro Dojo, thankfully we rediscovered this brilliant little game this weekend, played it, and had some fantastic fun with it. So before we take a look at it and how it plays, let's take a Fun with Boxes look at what you got in the first edition and now in its newer deluxe edition. In Micro Dojo, you are one of two daimyos who have been tasked by the Shogun to bring prosperity to a small town. Carefully maneuver the town's retainers to gather resources, build buildings, and complete the Shogun's tasks, and win favour. The daimyo with the most favour will win and be granted the title to the town. Micro Dojo is a small tactical Euro game for 1 to 2 players that plays in under 30 minutes and is simple to learn and play. In fact, here is the back of the box, and this pretty much tells you exactly how to play the game. On your turn, you perform 2 actions. First, you move 1 of 4 meeples to an adjacent space and pop your daimyo marker onto it to show you've moved it. And then you resolve the ability of the space you moved into. Then it's the next player's turn. Rinse and repeat until a player reaches 7 points or the last objective is scored. There is a catch, however. You can't move the last meeple either you or your opponent moved. These will have your and your opponent's daimyo markers on them. Instead, you have to choose one of the other 2 meeples to move. You can also only move orthogonally, not diagonally, and with such a small limited board to play on, this is where the genius of the game comes into play. Easy to learn and play, but to play well, oh, this is a crafty little game. Let's look at how you set up a game of Micro Dojo. Pop the little game board onto the table and place 4 meeple tokens randomly into the 4 corners of the board. Select 5 objective tokens at random and place them face up above the top of the board. Then randomly select 6 buildings and place them face up next to the board. Each player chooses a colour and takes the matching daimyo and scoring marker. Then randomly select a starting player and give the other player the influence token. And then you are ready to play. Winning the game. As I said earlier, the rules are very straightforward, but it's what you do and when you do it that counts. The first to 7 points will win the game, or the game will end when the final objective is scored, at which point the player with the most points wins, or in the case of a tie, if the second player has not used their influence token, they will win. But if it's still a tie, the player with the most resources wins. Gameplay. Players alternate taking turns, with each turn having 2 actions. Move. You move 1 meeple to an adjacent empty space, and you cannot move meeples with daimyo markers on them. Once you have moved 1 of your meeples, you place your daimyo marker onto it. Once per game, the player with the influence token may discard it and remove one Daimyo marker from a meeple and move it. This is a one-use effect only and cannot be used again that game. Resolve the space. After you move, you resolve the effect of the space you land in. The effects are straightforward and are printed on the board. Here they are. Gold or food. Take the amount shown up to a maximum of 7 of each. Build. Take one building and place it in front of you, paying its cost in gold and or food printed at the bottom. Or you can remove one of your buildings from the game and gain 1 victory point. Action. For each A action symbol, you may take one of the following actions. Trigger an objective. This can only be done once per turn. You evaluate the leftmost objective, giving the points shown to the winner, and turn the objective face down. No one scores any points in a tie. You can activate your building. You can only do this once per turn, allowing you to use the action ability of a building. Or you can trade. Exchange any number of resources 2 for 1. Or finally, you can donate. Spend 5 gold or 5 food to gain 1 victory point. And that's the rules. Each player takes a turn performing one move and then activating the space they move to, until the endgame triggers. The rules leaflet details all the objectives and buildings for you, though you should find the symbology enough to not need to look at them once you start playing. There are advanced objectives that you can use in the game, and there are advanced game modes for you to play, though it's strongly suggested that you play at least 5 basic games before attempting these. Plus, there are solo rules included and a set of automa cards, allowing you to play the game on your own or as a 2-player game. Final thoughts. Well, there you have it. Micro Dojo, a very small micro game that really delivers a full game experience. Simple to learn, easy to play, but with a lot of thought and strategic thinking, which is surprising considering how small the board is. What a clever little game that will keep you entertained for many, many plays, especially with the included advanced rules and the solo mode. I would highly recommend anyone to check out this game. It's so much fun, but also really makes you think. It's got a small footprint and a short playing time, which makes this an essential little game to carry around with you. A big Fun with Boxes thumbs up for this cracking little game. Well, thanks very much for watching. Please click that like button if you enjoyed this video, and also hit that subscribe button for me. That would be super awesome if you did that. Please take care and bye for now.